All right, crew. This is a thrilling time.
Very exciting.
Eric, I like to consider us kind of hunky, in our own.
Verging on hunky.
We're verging on hunky. We're bordering on hunky. But
hunky adjacent.
But for the first time ever in the history of hunky adjacent.
Yeah, we're next to hunky.
That's just we are today.
We are truly
we are
next
virtually
to hunky.
We are virtually hunky adjacent.
That's
because
right.
joining us here today on Christmas Countdown is one of the stars of the new Hallmark Channel Christmas movie, Three Wise Men and a Baby. Everyone. Well, I guess it's just us, but in your cars, scream out, "Hi, Andrew Walker!"
Andrew Walker
is
in
here.
the building.
Yes.
On the TV.
Wow,
Yeah.
guys.
How you doing, man?
Oh, hey, quiet down. It's so loud.
I know the
So many
crowd.
people.
The
Did you
crowd
like
is going
that
crazy.
applaud? That applaud. The singular applaud. Andrew, I got to say, right out of the gates, I like to think my hair looks pretty cool most days. Your hair is awesome.
On point.
You popped up in the screen. I was like, "What product is that?" Like that was the first question that came.
So let's
Hair
start there.
plugs. Hair plugs, guys. Hair plugs.
Is that the secret?
Yeah, it's the secret. Just you got to plug it out. Plug it out. Shave it off. Plug it out. Good to go.
Always good.
Oh my gosh!
Been
See, I've been
plugged since I was
wondering for
12.
years how to
we're
do it.
going to talk about Christmas gifts in an episode coming up. We'll say hair plugs. That's what you want.
Hair plugs. That's
Get hair plugs for your man.
That's the way to do it.
All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. Well, no, guys, no. All I want for Christmas is the 2 front inches of my hair.
Is my old hairline. That's all I want for Christmas.
my old hairline.
Right.
No, I appreciate that. I guess I've been blessed by my genes. I don't know. My on my mom's side. I don't know where you get your hair from, but yeah, it's funny because my son, both my boys, I have a 2.5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they have completely different style hair. My 2.5-year-old has these like long. He can grow his hair. It's almost like Dave Grohl style hair. It like hangs down and it's blonde. It's beautiful hair. My 7-year-old has very coarse hair, and it sticks up. But one of his favorite characters in a book is Harold from Captain Underpants. Yeah. So every time he goes to the barber, we go to the barber together. He brings the picture. Well, not the barber knows, but he brings the picture of Harold, and he's like, Spike. I want my hair to look like this. I need my hair to look like this. So all he's been doing is shaving his sides of his hair for like the past 4 haircuts, and his hair is about
Getting taller and
this
taller.
high.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's super tall.
That's amazing. Wait, the person who does your hair, is his name Spike?
Spike, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Spike the barber.
Dude, if that's not
You're the
on
coolest guy we've ever met.
If that's not on brand, that'd be like if you cut hair and your name was Buzz.
Yeah.
Or like Snip or something like that. Like Spike the barber,
is
Slick.
Spike.
Yeah.
That might be another.
Right?
Oh my gosh, man, this is
Oh, yeah.
cool.
No, no.
I mean, where else are we going to go from here, Eric?
I don't know.
This conversation is
know.
already off to a rip roaring start. But Andrew, so thrilled to have you join us. I put on my best Hallmark Hunk wardrobe that I could possibly muster up today. I've got my work boots on.
You look like a small town librarian who's reconnecting with his high school sweetheart. Something like that.
That's it. Yeah. The local woodworker.
How many Hallmark movies or Christmas movies have you done, Andrew? Do you know?
Hallmark in general, I think I'm on my 25th. I think Wise Men was my 25th. And Christmas, it's been, I think I'm on about 10 now, 10, 11 Christmas movies.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I never would have thought when I started acting that this would be my niche. It's like kind of what's kept the lights on and kept me working, and what I could not think of a better place to be perpetually living in, than a Christmas land.
We agree completely.
We could not agree more, actually.
Yeah,
As we
guys.
look around us and we're all surrounded by Christmas trees. But, I mean, that's got to be a really cool experience to be in these films that really are all about joy. Like, every single Hallmark Channel Christmas movie, like, it's happiness, it's joy, it's love. Like, that's got to be a pretty cool story to tell over and over again, right?
Oh, it never gets old. It never gets old. I get to celebrate Christmas twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. This year I did Maple Valley Christmas. I did Three Wise Men. The on-set decorating teams are so talented, and they do it up. Like there's like the typical, there's the walk and talk through the town.
Yep.
There's the skating rink. There's the festival, the Christmas festival, or the market that you do a walk and talk in usually. So there's these quintessential locations in these Hallmark movies. And every time I walk on a set in a different location, I'm blown away with the details, that these guys bring, that these people bring to decorating these sets. It's almost like your guys' set.
Yeah,
you could be doing Hallmark.
This podcast doesn't work out. I'm going to become a set
decoration.
designer at Hallmark Channel.
It's funny you mentioned all those sort of like traditional places that are in a lot of the Hallmark movies. We're doing a fantasy league with our listeners this year where they can choose 5 movies from Hallmark. And then we have point totals for like every time someone walks through town square, it's 1 point. If there's like royalty, there's a point. If you kiss in front of a tree, it's a point. Under mistletoe, 3 points. So they can, we have sort of a whole fantasy football league, but built around Hallmark Channel movies this year. So you should check that out. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're trying to encourage that co-viewing experience, for all the dudes who like, their girlfriends or wives or whatever, like, come on, sit down and watch a Hallmark Channel movie with me. Now they have a team, so they have something to root for while they're watching these movies. And I have to reveal to you, Andrew, that one of my selections this season is 3 Wise Men and a Baby. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend because I chose 3 Wise Men and a Baby as my spoiler because there's 3 opportunities for love in this movie. Usually it's just like a one-on-one thing. Now it's like X3. Yeah. I felt really good about my pick.
Well, technically there's 4 because the love story is also between the brothers. So but we don't kiss, but there is a love story. There is a love story there.
That's a great point.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the film since we're sort of chatting out?
I will. Just a side thought here. I could potentially be the Pete Rose of this whole thing, guys. I could be betting on myself.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be so smart.
You have insider information. We may have to not let you into the.
All of a sudden, I got this bet coming in. He's like $1,000 on 3 Wise Men and a Baby. What's that all about? I don't know if I could back this bet.
I mean, it was a dream situation, Tyler and Paul Tyler's my wife's first cousin. So I've known him. I've been with my wife now for 19 years. I've known him for 19 years. I've known of him longer than that because he had a really great career as a child actor in Canada. He won the equivalent of the Oscars when he was like 13 years old or 14 years old for a film that he did in Canada. And so I'd known about him. I've been acting now since I was around 12 myself, and having this opportunity to work with him, and then obviously Paul and Kimberly Sustad have such an incredible track record. They've really been single-handedly changing the landscape of these Hallmark movies. Unexpected Christmas. I don't know if you guys had seen that movie, but arguably one of the best Christmas movies out there. Bethany Joy Lenz, Tyler, but it was really the script, and so to get this opportunity to do a Paul Campbell and Kimberly Sustad movie and have it be about these 3 brothers and this relationship and these guys, this dysfunctional family. And like I was saying, the love story is these brothers. I mean, that's the A plot of these brothers basically being dysfunctional because the father had left when they were all a young age. And it was something they've still been kind of working through and left, there's a lot of that's been left untalked about and kind of like, they haven't unpacked anything that they've really gone through, right, as kids. And I'm the oldest brother, Paul's the middle brother, and Tyler is the youngest brother. And it's funny, like I had somebody ask this the other day, how much does that affect your character? And when I first went into it, I was like, I don't know, it's going to affect it, I guess, a little bit here and there, but really like you fall into, it really helped in the way that I would communicate to my brothers, and like
kind of vibe,
being the older brother vibe and having that kind of gravitas or like that, the last word, my word is the last word. And they gave me the power to be able to kind of like be the older brother. And we would rag on Tyler a lot more because he was the youngest brother, just as probably, most of the time, most brothers would, 3 brothers. But what was I think the coolest part of this film was that we all came into it not knowing how the chemistry would work, because we're all, always just you and the leading female usually in these things, but having 3 males, 3 guys that like each other, off camera coming onto a movie like this, there could have been a power struggle, or there
Sure.
could have been like, hey, I really don't think we should go down this road. But we communicated so well. And because we are such specific individuals and so different in our like animalistic qualities as human beings, we just gave each other space. It really hit after the first scene on our first day. We ad-libbed and we threw a couple lines in, and then we would like, we were just, first take between all of us. And after that first take, it was like, oh, this is going to be this, there's some juices. This is going to be good. And we spent every lunch together, just kind of problem solving. There's a couple really, I don't want to give too many things away, but there's a couple really fun choreographies that are happening in this movie that we put together ourselves over lunch hour, and with the help of my sister-in-law as well. She's a dance choreographer out of Montreal, Shanna Troy. And so this movie has like a little bit of everything for everybody. It made me cry when I read this script. Having young boys myself, and just thinking about having having a father that wasn't there, or if I was to walk or whatever it is, like I just couldn't imagine. I can't fathom that, and to like hear how it affects these guys, along the way. But no, this is a super dynamic film, and I'm really, I'm so grateful that I was picked to be part of the three guys, the three brothers. And Paul wrote it with us in mind, with Tyler and myself in mind, which really helped, with the voice, I think. And but Hallmark to take the leap of faith on us doing a film like this was really, really awesome, of them to be able to just, have the faith that something like this would be well received from fans.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like you guys were having a blast. I saw that TikTok that sort of went viral of the three of you guys. I think you were like in elf costumes or something like that.
Costumes?
Yeah, coming out of your trailers. And it was just like, okay, these guys are clearly having a good time together. And I was like, maybe Eric and I need to bro out and shoot some reels like that together sometime.
I got to give it. That's Tyler. That's Tyler, man. Tyler's a filmmaker. He like, that's what he does. He makes indie films. And so he's always got some, some great idea. And then, of course, Paul and I are like, let's do this, let's do that, so we're throwing in some of the sprinkling in some of our own things, but really Tyler is the grand puppet master of most of these things that we're doing.
I'm stoked to see the dancing in this movie. I don't know if that was one of the things we established as like getting us points.
Yeah, I don't know that it's on any lists, because I don't feel like there's usually a ton of dancing in a Hallmark movie. So I'm excited to see that.
Is there singing involved, or is it just dancing?
Just dancing.
Just dancing. Because we do have randomly bursting into song.
Yes,
maybe it should have been randomly bursting into song or dance.
Yes, yeah.
I think that would. I mean, I say that now because I want the points. So I'm curious. Being in Hallmark Channel movies, and especially Christmas ones, there's got to be a certain love or appreciation for the holiday season. Like for you, like when did your love for the holiday season start? Were you from a family that were like huge fans of Christmas, or sort of what's your story of your love for the holiday season?
Yeah, I came from a relatively large family. I grew up with traditions. Like my family were like really, really strict on traditions. And, we used to gather at my grandmother's house way back when I was, before my teens. She passed away when I was around 12, 13 years old. So my aunt took it over. We'd go to her house, and, but it was always like Christmas Eve, we had my aunt's house. Christmas Day, my parents' house. Christmas Day Eve, we'd go back to my aunt's house, eat leftovers. And now, with my own family and my wife's family, we got to balance it all out. And we do go back to Montreal and still get that, white Christmas, which is really nice for the kids and for us. And then come running back to California as quickly as possible after we spend two weeks there. But the traditions in my family too were, were music. Like we would get together. My mom was an incredible pianist, and my aunt was a music teacher for elementary schools, and her two daughters were incredible vocalists. One of which is an opera singer in England, and the other one tried her hand at Broadway. And then I sang in a rock band back when I was younger. And wow. And so, you know, just we all got together. And then my uncle's an awesome trumpet player and vocalist as well. So my aunt and uncle would be doing duets together, and we just all sit around, eat food, listen to them, you know, listen to the music. And so great memories of Christmas growing up. But my dad, you know, it's you know, it's hilarious now. It's so funny to look back. My dad was he is a big cheapskate, and the guy would he would skimp. We would be the years. So we always had this like Charlie Brown Christmas tree, this Christmas tree that was, you know, I grew up in a great house, like, you know, in a great suburb of Montreal. But my dad would get this, like, he had this fake Christmas tree that he'd bring up every year, and it was just awful. It was all separated, and it was just it was just a terrible old Christmas tree that has been, you know, I guess he had got it at a garage sale. My dad's MO was he would go down at garage sales. He'd haggle with people, buy things for a discount, bring it back to his own garage sale, and sell it for a markup. And so that's what he used to do growing up.
That's brilliant.
And, entrepreneur, I like it.
Yeah, entrepreneur. And he might have done that with our Christmas tree. I don't know. Maybe got it from a garage sale and decided to keep it. But no, we had such great memories. And now, having a family of my own, you know, the movies have definitely rubbed off on me. I think, like, my wife would be the one 10 years ago to put 103.5, which is what the radio station here in LA Coast, exactly, that Delilah would do her, you know, would do the Christmas, it would just be, you know, constant Christmas. And I think it starts right after Thanksgiving, or they might've started now already.
It's right after Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was even too early for me then. You know, right after Thanksgiving, I was like, come on, we have 27 more days, or 20, whatever it is, you know, more days until Christmas. I think we're being like a little overzealous here. But now, as you can see, I got the tree, I got the garland up. Our house is like fully decked in Christmas. I was outside doing the Christmas lights on the outside of the house last night.
Nice.
And Christmas music has been playing for the past 5 days in our house.
Yes.
And it just feels good, right? Yeah. Christmas feels good. And I also leave this week for a job, so I didn't want to leave my family with, like, just an empty house.
Sure.
Yeah, a couple pumpkins.
Exactly. A couple rotting pumpkins.
Turkey toy.
Speaking of the, you know, kind of the spirit of Christmas, and you said it just feels good. Something that we're sort of constantly searching for in our podcast is, we know that we love Christmas. We know that a lot of people love Christmas, and it's easy to say, oh, it's great because, you know, the lights or being with family. But, like, when you really try to break it down, what do you think it is about the Christmas season, Hallmark Christmas movies, Christmas music, all of it rolled together into one? What do you think it is? Why do people crave it so much? Why is it so important? Why does it make people celebrate a holiday 2-3 months before it happens?
I think it's simple. It's the magic.
Yeah.
It's the magic, because there's hope, and there's you know, it's a time when we give ourselves the excuse to shut everything down, and then, like, gather as family. Like, it's like, who cares about any work related issues, anything that's going on in your life? It's just like, gather as a family, hunker down, and just think about how hot your coffee is in the morning. And then, like, and, you know, do I need another cup of coffee? That's pretty much the only thing that you're thinking about, you know? And then also, you know, having, you know, reliving the magic of Christmas with your kids, about, like, Santa Claus. And my son was telling me, he's like, Daddy, he has this raspy voice. He's like, Daddy, the only thing that I want for Christmas this year is I just want to meet Santa. I just want to meet the real Santa. That's it. I just want to meet the real Santa.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it better not be. And then he's like, this morning, he's like, and it better not be you, Daddy, because I know you have that Christmas suit.
Don't try to pull one over on me.
I love that. So, Andrew, you were talking about, our home for the holidays, Coast 103.5, which is our holiday music station here in Southern California. But you recently got to do something for like a global radio station, Sirius XM. You did sort of like a countdown to Christmas. You guys were like guest DJs. What was that experience like? Because we're loving, Hallmark Channel Radio, Channel 105 on Sirius XM. What was that experience like getting to sort of be like a radio host for the day, as it were?
Well, I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into. I was asked 3 years ago to basically do an entire segment with my 10 top Christmas songs. Right. And I didn't know to the degree of what I was doing. Like I went to the studio here in LA and I hosted the whole show. Having a story before and after every song that aired, it was, I kind of had to like do it on the fly in a way. And there was like little, cliff notes that I had, but whatever. It came together, I think, really well. But then, so the second time I was asked to do it, I had it a little bit more polished. And then the third time I was with Tyler and Paul in New York, where Hallmark had put on this incredible event recently for this, a Christmas Spectacular, which is a movie that the Rockettes did for them this year. And so we went to a hotel room and it was just, we were thrown little, one-liners, and basically we're going to be peppered in to this year's Hallmark, Hallmark radio station. And it's just going to be us going like, hey, this is Andrew Walker. And, can't wait for you to join me this year on Three Wise Men and a Baby. And hope this is Paul Campbell. Merry Christmas from our family to yours from Hallmark Channel. And then Tyler pops in, so we just do these little one-liners just to kind of, make it a little bit more fuzzy for people. And, so it was a lot of fun though. It was great. And honored to have done it.
I love that. Now, speaking of music, that we do countdowns here. We do top 10 or top 5 lists. Our theme this week is top 5 Christmas love songs.
Yes.
Now, I hear that you have brought us your list. You're joining in the countdown craziness, and we love that. So we're going to toss it to you now. You can start with number 5, build up to number 1, and tell us what are your Andrew Walker's top 5 Christmas love songs. Take it away.
My first one is, and most of the songs are from, it's always mostly based around radio play. When I'm back in Montreal, when the snow's coming down and it pops up on the radio, and little moments when I was driving when I was younger, and one of these songs would play constantly when my dad was driving us to like midnight mass or something like that. It was just like a moment in time. So one of them, my fifth is Blue Christmas by Elvis. Blue Christmas by Elvis, and recently seeing the movie, I have a whole different interpretation of who Elvis Presley is or was. And that song to me, his voice and the warmth of his voice. And those are just like very specific memories that I have of listening to this song, Blue Christmas. And it's obviously a huge radio hit.
Such a good one, yeah.
I grew up with a jazz-loving mother and father, and they did. I listened to a lot of Frank Sinatra at the house, and when Michael Bublé did his Christmas album, I was blown away. I think that everyone was just blown away with that album. And not that we can put Michael Bublé and Frank Sinatra even in the same category necessarily. I think Frank is just, his tone was just like one of a kind. But Michael Bublé does a great job. He's done an incredible job. But his Christmas album was insane. And so All I Want for Christmas by Michael Bublé, got to give him respect on that song.
Yeah,
the way he did it.
Great version of it.
It's a great version. Great version.
Agreed. He crushed it with that album.
Yeah.
I mean, it really catapulted him as like the king of Christmas. I feel like that made that official.
Oh yeah.
Fellow Canadian as well.
Did. I know. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's he did an awesome job. Another one right below that is Merry Christmas Baby, Otis Redding.
Ooh,
just love that song.
Good one.
Yeah. And Otis Redding just singing his heart out. Love it.
Such a good one.
My second to last is Please Come Home for Christmas, B.B. King.
Ooh.
That album, the BB King Christmas album, I don't know if you guys have listened to that album, but it's front to back, guys. My in-laws,
Yeah.
that's their go-to Christmas album when I'm back in Montreal. And so it's just on rotation, every 4 hours when they pull out, and they kind of do the rotation of all the albums. But the BB King one is the one that probably we play out the most. And that's the first song on the album. And it's awesome. That whole album is awesome.
I love it.
Adding it to the list.
Yeah.
Yes,
like
we both just took our
like
phones
typing
and
away.
added it
Yeah.
to our list here.
Awesome.
All right. And last but not least, always puts a smile on my face, and I blast it, is Wham! Last Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Strong coming in with Wham at number one. I like that.
This is
I
a
like
very
that.
diverse
Wham!
five. Yeah.
That was good. You represented very well there. Just in regards to critiquing your countdown ability.
Yeah.
You did a great job. You covered a lot of genres. You had a good reasoning for all of them. You built nicely to number one. Surprise pick at number one. I love that.
Surprise pick for
good
sure.
Oh
job.
yeah, surprised.
Yeah, I
have this love for 80s. I just put this playlist together, this 80s playlist called Dad's Mix. And so I've been playing it in the car, and it's funny enough, the playlist that my kids love the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Tears for Fears and all these,
Yes.
these just killer bands and songs. And I went down a rabbit hole. That's what I do when I'm in Vancouver working. I usually will walk the city, or I'll be working out, and I'll put it on the Spotify radio play of like one song that I love, and then I'll just put it to my mix.
Yeah.
And I have a really strong Dad's 80s mix now.
Is it a public playlist? Can people find it?
It's a public playlist.
Right.
Yeah, you can find it.
We'll post a link to it.
So it's called Dad's 80s playlist. Is that?
Just Dad's Mix.
Dad's Mix.
Mix.
Okay,
On-
Dad's Mix by Andrew Walker. Go look it up on your Spotify ASAP.
A.W. Walker is my Spotify name.
Great.
A.W. Walker.
Boom. We're going to look it up. Well, Andrew, this has been an absolute blast. We can't wait to see Three Wise Men and a Baby premiering this weekend on Hallmark Channel. Thank you so much for taking the time. We really enjoyed getting to know you and getting to chat with you, and wish you the best of luck. And we did, the one thing we didn't get to talk about, Eric.
Oh, we have to quickly ask.
So
you mentioned that you started acting around 14 years old. And when we were looking at your IMDb, you were on Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
Classic Snick Saturday Nickelodeon.
Snick.
Tell us just a brief little bit about Are You Afraid of the Dark, one of the greatest TV shows of all time.
Are You Afraid of the Dark was the reason why I think I'm an actor today, because my dad took me out of school. It was my first audition that I went out for.
Wow.
And he picked me up and he's like, look, we're going to just see what happens here. Throw caution to the wind. Who knows if you're going to get it? It was the first audition my agent had given me. And I went in, booked it. And my dad was like, okay, well, you booked the first one. Let's, let's see how things go. And I ended up booking like one out of every 5-6 auditions that I went out for after I booked that Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. And then they called me back again for another episode in season 2 or 3. But that was my first gig. That's awesome. The Tale of the Vacant Lot.
Nice.
Ooh.
We'll have to go back and find
I'm going to go find that online this weekend for sure. First, I'll watch Three Wise Men and a Baby, and then I'm going to watch
deep dive.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Andrew, this has been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you,
best
guys.
of luck and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
You too, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Merry Christmas.